Okay, let me try and do this like another live update. I'll post it to Facebook as soon as I'm done. And I'm at Church Unlimited, and my daughter's going to be, she's helping with the kids, so she told me she'll be about 15-20 minutes late. And that kind of said, let me talk a little. I did that morning video, and I'm going to post this to YouTube later. But those of you that follow my site, I've kind of talked about Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, all in the context of true freedom of speech. I think in our time period really is not going to come from the corporate media. Some of them do serve a purpose. I retweeted something from the Kohler Times, and I didn't see it on any of the other news, local news, KIII, KRS, KCTV. But they did a service because there was a man who died in our county jail about a week ago, I believe. And then the Kohler Times revealed the Texas Rangers are investigating that death, and he was stunned with a stun gun, and then after that died. Okay, that's something we got to look into. We had too many deaths in our county jail here under Sheriff Jim Kalin. So that was a good service they did. Now, because I was reading a few things on Julian Assange, and I followed his Twitter account just earlier today, it led me to go to Eric Holder, former Attorney General, also James Comey's Twitter account. They don't have that many tweets. Look, I got so many tweets, I know a lot of people probably don't. It says how many impressions you get. I don't know what that means. I do get a lot of whatever that means. So I was surprised their Twitter accounts, and they probably don't have a whole lot of social, presence, social media presence. But Eric Holder tweeted, Trump, President, do something about this Russian things, then this, that. And man, Julian Assange, rightfully, he just went off on Mr. Holder. And then I saw Mr. Comey's Twitter account, former FBI director. And what upset me about Mr. Holder, and then you have the Clapper thing. If I have time, I'll get to it. Eric Holder, under his Justice Department, committed crimes that a Mr. Sessions or anybody else would be in prison for. And what were those crimes? There are multiple ones, but the one you heard me speak on, which is documented, books written, the Justice Department illegally tapped into the computers of a white female reporter. Mainstream news, by the way, her name was Cheryl Atkinson. And it was under Mr. Holder's Justice Department that they went after reporters, and they put Judith Miller, in jail. Mainstream news lady, because she would not reveal her sources who leaked information to her. And there were other things that happened under Mr. Holder's watch. But Eric Holder is a black man. And he also spoke openly. And look, I'm a Black Lives Matter supporter. But I feel he used his skin color as a cloak. Because I will tell you, the crime and that one thing with Miss Atkinson, you would have the Attorney General, if he did that, these people would be in prison. But yet Mr. Assange responded to Eric Holder because he's hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy for years now because the United States, Western government, colluded with Britain, if you will, to keep that man in jail on a false charge of some past rape charge, which was false, and the UN had agreed that it was fake. And we kind of colluded, the powers that be colluded. And then I see Mr. Comey and Mr. Holder escaping justice. And what did Comey do? He lied, particularly about things that are going on in our country at this time, the FISA warrants, things of that nature. And these people escaped justice, and they're now out free. And instead of being grateful that they're out free, they're using their freedom to continue to tweet and to try to have a public presence. Now, Mr. Clapper, his 5-year that he lied openly to Congress, he lied openly about investigations, And he also headed up one of the intelligence agencies that was shown to have committed crimes against the American people. The NSA was collecting data on Americans. This gets right into the freedom of our country. And when the NSA collected that data, they went before Congress and denied it and lied and admitted later that they were caught in lies. Anybody under this administration now that did these things would be charged criminally and be going to prison. So these men not only escaped it, but they still have the goal. Mr. Holder, you shouldn't even show up on a Twitter account where Mr. Assange has something, because he's in a category of someone who paid the price to speak truth. And I just explained what you did, and some of those things was disgraceful. And yet you still have a presence and an influence. Mr. Comey, on his side, he's promoting a book. What a disgrace, the money changers. You're doing it for money, Comey? It's a disgrace. And Mr. Clapper, tonight is the 5-year, at midnight I believe, is the 5-year before they can charge him for lying, which he did. And it looks like he's going to escape justice because he lied about those things I just mentioned. And if they don't do it by tonight, there's a 5-year statute of limitation of the crimes that Mr. Clapper committed, and that it came out in public media. Everybody knows he lied to Congress, he misled, he colluded, he did all the things. And all these people who are former Obama people are escaping justice, and that yet seeking to go after other people that speak truth. Mr. Assange, I gave you that example, and I just find it disgraceful. The only free media you really have are people who are willing to pay a price to speak truth. And to see these people, with the record and history that they had, to continue to somehow promote themselves as a voice in the society. And there were many other things that took place under the Obama years. And I did not dislike Obama, and I prayed for him and his family for 8 years as president. But to know that these people, and particularly Mr. Holder, that he's out there saying, do something, do something. You escaped justice in those things. You should have never, you went after these female reporters, tapped into their computers illegally. There were tremendous injustices that were done. So please, don't, Mr. Assange pays a price for exposing corruption. And those of you that were part of that corruption, just be grateful. Spend your days trying to serve society. Okay?